she was sitting out there with the baby, and they both seemed to be doing right. We just kept walking, and another day, our guides, they had about 3 guides with us this time, and we stopped at a creek to get some water in our canteens and put that halazon pill in there to purify it. And one fella, when we got on the ship in New York City, the Salvation Army was there as we went on, and they gave us a little cotton bag with toothpaste and a razor and toothbrushes. And this fella had kept his and had it with him on this adventure up through the mountains, and he pulled his out and he was going to brush his teeth. So he did, and those natives, they just reached down there and they got the gravel and they rubbed their teeth with it. And I thought that was pretty interesting. I never had seen anything like that, but they were wanting to do like he did. And then about 2 days before our trek was over, we ran across one little village that was empty, and that's where we met the Japanese, one Japanese. And so we took him prisoner, and we just had 2 more days and one night, I believe it was, let's see, and left on our trip. So we were walking along there, and he and 2 or 3 others were behind me, and first thing I noticed, the Japanese started walking down toward a creek bed with rocks and all. It wasn't full of water or anything. And he got down there close to the creek, and about that time I heard about 3 or 4 shots. And he went down, and then he kind of rolled over, and the blood, he didn't have his shirt on, kind of run across his back, like it reminded me of the time I was in the wheat harvest in Kansas, where when we were milk cows in the morning, we cooled the milk, we ran it over kind of a washboard, and it just came down like that. And that's the way it was on his back. And that was the first human being I'd ever seen killed like that.
Okay, who shot him? Who shot him?
The sergeant and one other fellow behind me shot him, and they said he was making a break for it. And then they got to talking and everything, said besides that, it'd be pretty rough to guard him at night and everything. But afterthought and everything, if they'd asked me to watch him, I'd have stayed up because I was young and energetic, and I'd have been willing to do that. But anyhow,
now, are the Japanese bedded into the mountains? Is that why you're going up in?
Yes, they were up there, and then sometimes they said when Bob Hope and Dorothy Moore came to visit us, and we'd have those picture shows at night on the back at the edge of the ocean and all. They said some of the Japanese would come down there and watch that with us, and then go back up the mountains. I don't know. I didn't see any of those, and but. They were still, there may be some still over there, don't know the war's over with, I don't know.
Did you know that they were not, that they had run out of supplies and didn't have food and this kind of?
The one we found, he didn't have any food. I carried his bayonet, and he didn't have any, his clothes were worn out and everything. He didn't have his shirt, he just had rags for trousers, and he was just by himself, I guess, and because he didn't have any supplies, ammunition, no, and I guess maybe the natives, he might have got some food from them or something, but he was just up there by himself when we found him.
Okay. Go ahead, now you're still trekking in the mountains, looking for the Japanese.
And so, we got back to, camp, within a couple of days, and the lieutenant, and all of them had to fill out the reports and everything. And, there were more gathered there to, go back to the Philippines, more ships. You could see the ships gathered out there and everything. About that time, I got orders. They were sending me back to take study for the West Point examination. And so they had promised us fresh turkey for Christmas. And sure enough, Christmas Day, we had fresh turkey and all the trimmings and all. Oh, it was hot. It didn't seem much like a Christmas,
But you had turkey.
They kept the promise and everything. The reason I mentioned that is that they put us on a B-24 bomber converted to passengers, and we crossed the date line, and I had 2 Christmases in one day. And we stopped off at Hawaii and got gasoline, and then we came on to the Golden Gate, and it was night, and all I remember about California were the tropical plants at the airport, and then they put us on a train at the train station, and it was raining. And that's all I remember about California. I always wanted to go back and check California out, but I never did. And so we got on the train and went to close to Springfield, Massachusetts. It was called Amherst College, and there we studied. Let's see, that would be in January. We took the exam. We studied about 2 or 3 months there.
All right, now what year, January of what year?
Ma'am?
January of what year?
That would be in 45, January, let's see, we got there in January of 45.
Okay.
And we had 2 Christmases in December of 44.
Okay.
And so we studied there, and those of us that passed the exam in April, they sent us to Fort Benning, Georgia. And we trained and stayed there until August the 8th. Is when they sent us to the military academy, West Point. And they discharged me from the Army on August the 8th. And then I became a cadet August the 9th at West Point. And we went there, and I went out for football there. And we had Colonel Blake was our, Red Blake was our coach, and we had some famous players, Glenn Davis and Doc Blanchard, Mr. Inside, Mr. Outside. And then we had our, I think it was All-American Ian that coached at Houston for years there. Oh, can't think of his name right now. But anyhow, we had the national championship, and that would be in fall of 45. And
all right, now,
ma'am,
where are you when you hear that peace has been declared?